Hi, my name's Tony and today we're going to look at Excel walkthrough based on data validation. Data validation can be a really useful tool, so let's explore some of the basic and less well-known functions. The best way to show you is to go straight into what data validation can do based on an example in front of us. So by now you'll be familiar with this ice cream stock inventory list. Say it's your job and it's your responsibility to fill in the last column, which is for reordering purposes, but you know that next week it's your turn to go on vacation and someone else has to fill in this column. So there are a number of tools that we can use to help guide someone through this, and you want to maybe restrict whoever is using this Excel from ordering too much or ordering too little. So we can actually use data validation to help put some restrictions in this final column for ordering quantity. Now we want to put some restrictions. We don't want to blanket stop anyone from changing the values, otherwise we would just do it ourselves. So there might be excess of sales in some columns, so we have to allow some degree of flexibility. Right now, to show you there's no restrictions in these columns, what we're going to do is change the value. So the first column here is 200, we're going to change that to 20, and then change that to maybe 200,000 or 2 million, and you'll see that that quantity changes straight away. What we'd like to do with the help of data validation is actually to limit the changes that can be made. So first of all, what we want to do if you want to do any data validation is select the cell you want to use, and for here we want to put a restriction on all of these columns. And if you look along the line here, basically the lowest value is 50 and the highest restock was originally 200. So what we're going to go ahead and do is actually make some changes to this reordering value list. So what we're going to go ahead and do is select column J4 through to J28, and we can use data validation to help us here. So what I mean by that is if you go to your tab, go along to data ribbon, you can go along to use like data tools, click on the little drop down menu for data validation, and as soon as you click on this there'll be a pop-up box opens, and we want to go to the first section here, which is settings. And here we've got the validation criteria. Right now, as we've just tried before, we can enter any value at all. I think we tried even up to 2 million. We want to change that any value to a whole number. And we want to use some value range between, I think the lowest stock quantity we have in the table is 50, and the highest we have is 200. So let's just put that limitation factor of 50 to 200 in here. Now that's it, it's gone away from the list. So how do we know what these values are what? Well, what we can do is go back to the first column and we can go ahead and try and put a value less than 50 or above 200. So let's go for less than 50, let's go for 49. As soon as we press this, it should display an error message. So we've clicked at 49. And as you'll see, there's a pop-up menu here with an error message saying this value does not match the data validation restrictions defined for this cell. And it displays three different options: retry, cancel, or help. So if we go ahead and press cancel, it's because we knew that the value we put in here was 49, and we know because we're the ones that created this data validation low value of 50 and higher value of 200, that'll be the restrictions. Any values below that won't work, and any values higher than that won't work. So this has helped us already restrict any quantities from being under ordered, and we can go ahead and see what happens if we put in 201 and over ordered. So straight away we've got that error message again, and we've now restricted anyone from changing the values in this particular cell, or this range of cells I should say in this order. So this partially restricts the user from hugely over ordering or hugely under ordering, but we can make it a bit easier for the person filling this out to use it, and data tools itself can be used in an effective way to restrict users from making huge mistakes. We can actually not just put the data value in here. What we can also do is actually put in a message to allow the user to know about the changes that have been made. So in this value we've already put in what the highest and lowest value is 50 to 150 for all range of cells. And if you hover over here, you can show that there's nothing else, there's no way to know about that. So what we can actually do is actually put a message up to show the people that are filling in this column that without having to send a massive email to show them how to fill out the column, that they might actually be able to go ahead and know without going any further and without going out to this column what values and what restrictions we've put in place. So to do this, what we need to use is data validation again. And what we want to do this time is put it up here in the column for the person that's going to be using it. So sticking on data, make sure we're in your data tab, under the data tools again, and under the data validation, what we want to do is bring up the pop-up menu. And this time we want to put an input message. And on the input message, you want to tell basically the user that to fill in this quantity, that they have to stick between certain values. So we can go ahead and actually put in something like, enter the quantity and the order for each item in this column. Note that the data entry is limited to accept a value between 50 and 150. Any other value will return an error message. And what that will do is that will change the message so that anyone using this cell will be able to understand by just hovering over the cell or clicking on the cell. They'll be able to have this pop-up message to explain to them before they do anything else that the limiting value is between 50 and 150, and so they don't have to make a guess or try to go through and find out what data range you've put in place. They've got a very quick, straightforward and simple message by just clicking on the cell, and you'll see that this pop-up box tells them basically it only accepts a value between 50 and 150. So this can be a very good way of giving a message across to someone, especially if they're not very familiar with Excel or they've got a very basic knowledge. Basically that's it. I've been given another question and feedback from another video, which is how do we go about placing, I have a table with British pounds sterling symbols, and basically how can I try and change this for the columns or a selection of columns. So here it's a very simple task. If you select whichever columns you want to change the currency symbol, you go to your home page, make sure you go to accounting, and under accounting you'll see the drop down currency, the accounting number format symbol. If you click on that, you'll see that there's three well-known symbols that are used all the time. So if you wanted to use US dollars, you can click on US dollars, and that quickly changes that column to US dollars. So you can do that basically for the whole table, and for anywhere that's on pound signs to dollars if that's what you want. So you've then got a whole table that's got data, and it's now displaying the value you want. Now it doesn't have to just be dollars. There's the themeless column, which is English, pounds and UK, dollars, sign, the euro sign, but there's also more accounting formats. If you look here, you'll see the pound sign. If you click the drop down menu, you'll see a range of different currencies available. And I'm not going to this, but you basically can select anything you want. They've even got Bitcoin here and the Bitcoin symbol. If you were to use that, then up would pop a display value of what it's got for Bitcoin. Don't know how accurate that is, but yeah, that's basically the symbol anyway. Okay, I hope this was helpful. Any other Excel walkthroughs that you would like, please leave a comment in the comment section. Thank you.